Gus Gotze here with the Coastal Virginia Chamber of Commerce, another episode of The Wave. This time, a new friend, somebody I've been looking forward to meeting. Congresswoman Elaine Luria joined us. She represents Virginia's 2nd District and just was reelected about 4 weeks ago. So welcome to Coastal Virginia Chamber of Commerce and congratulations on the election.
Well, thanks. Thanks for having me, and it's great to be here this morning.
That was a big, tough battle, wasn't it?
It was, but really honored to have the opportunity to go back to Washington representing our district, and look forward to looking out for the interests of Hampton Roads and the Navy and the veterans. I serve on the Armed Services Committee and Veterans Affairs Committee, so look forward to continuing the work that we've gotten started.
I didn't ask you this. When Scott Ridgel was our congressman, and he's a good buddy of mine, I sat in his office before he ran, and I said, a big thing with me is term limits, and this isn't the position of our chamber. But I said, how long do you think you're actually going to be up there? He said, no more than 4 terms, 8 years tops. He left after 3 because he said it was far worse than he had ever envisioned. Is it that bad? And how long do you think you will keep going back to Washington if indeed you're fortunate enough to continue to get elected?
Well, I get that question a lot. People are always asking, is it as bad in Washington as what we see on TV? And, I would say these are particularly turbulent times that we have right now. But, truly, there's a few things that I reflect back to that, show that we actually can work together and work across the aisle, even in what seems like a divided time. And I actually had the honor of the president signing 8 of my bills into law during my first term. So have been able to, find common ground and work with my colleagues across the aisle and in the Senate. And I'm part of 2 different bipartisan caucuses. One is called the 4 Country Caucus. So we're all veterans. There's about 24 of us, and really work a lot on those veteran and military family related issues. And a bill that I got signed into law was for the children of Gold Star families who were being overtaxed at 37% on survivors' benefits for their parent who they had lost in combat, and was able to work with this bipartisan group, get that legislation through and get tax relief to those families. I'm also part of a group called the Problem Solvers Caucus, and there's 50 of us, so equal number of Democrats and Republicans, and we also have a component in the Senate. And you might hear a lot about the problem solvers right now because, the most recent COVID relief package, the negotiations that are going on now are based off the framework that our group put together and worked with a group of senators. So, in the next few days, we're looking to get some more relief out to the small businesses in the community and help to state and local government for vaccine distribution. And lastly, the third thing I'd like to talk about is, us as Virginians should be really proud of our Virginia delegation. We're the only delegation in the country that I know of that meets very regularly, all 11 members of the House on a bipartisan basis with both senators. And during COVID, we meet with the governor as well, at one point almost weekly, to really work on issues that are important to everyone in Virginia. So there is really a lot of good work going on across the aisle. It doesn't come across in the national news.
All we hear is EOC and Umar, and I have been involved in politics since Barry Goldwater when I was 4 years old, handing out door knockers with my mom. But even I can see that those are only 2 members of Congress that just happen to get all the press because they got a big platform and they're sexy and they're when I say that, I mean it's exciting. Let's put it that way. Yeah, well,
some people say that the difference is that there's like show ponies and workhorses. So there's the majority of us are the folks, actually trying to do the work. And I agree that some people get a disproportionate amount of attention, and that's unfortunate for all the other work that's going on.
I hear you, Congressman Elaine Luria, right here on the Coastal Virginia Chamber of Commerce with your host, JP Gus Gotze. Let's jump into COVID. President Trump promised that the vaccine was going to be here by the end of the year. I didn't know if I believed him, but by gosh, somehow that warp speed thing, he deserves some credit there because he got it done, and now people are getting shots. Forget the politics. I'm just grateful that because I'm going to get it. Are
Yep,
you?
me too. Me too. As soon as it's available, to folks like me, I know we're starting out with healthcare providers and the elderly who live in retirement homes, and there'll be a sequence. But as soon as I'm eligible to go get the shot, I definitely will. And I agree with you. I think it's great news for our country, and this is the way we're going to move on. Past COVID is to get the vaccine out to people and keep people safe and get back to some semblance of normal.
What you said a minute ago about bipartisan committees, that kind of warmed my heart. I remember there was so much bipartisan during the Reagan era, and even during Clinton with Speaker
Boehner.
the speaker back then when they worked together. And so, but boy, it's been non-existent. It seems like for the last 12 years. But you're optimistic. You didn't say how long you were going to serve up there, so I guess.
Oh gosh, well, I would say that there's a lot of important work to do, and every 2 years, the people of the 2nd District have an opportunity to either say I'm doing a good job and send me back, or pick someone else. But I think that I had a leadership role in the Armed Services Sea Power Subcommittee, and hope to continue to grow in responsibility within that committee, because Armed Services is just so important to Hampton Roads. So. I can't put a definitive number on it, but I think the people of the 2nd District have an opportunity every 2 years to either send me back or select someone else.
Spoken like all my buddies that are in office. They're very well stated, and I can appreciate that. Stimulus before Christmas, is that a guarantee, you think?
I'm not going to say a guarantee, but I am more optimistic today than I have been in a very long time. Like I said, we had put together a bipartisan package. The framework is agreed on by bipartisan members in the House and the Senate, and Secretary Mnuchin, who's the Secretary of the Treasury, and all these negotiations have been going on. And headed back up to DC tomorrow morning. We're expecting a vote on the spending packages as for funding the government, as well as including the stimulus elements of that in there. So what they're talking about right now is additional PPP funding, so assistance for small businesses, funding to help get the vaccine out, so funding for state and local governments to help with that, and all of the other essential services that they do, like public safety, police, fire, money for our schools. And additional assistance with unemployment benefits. So there's quite a few things in there that will be really, really good for the people who are just challenged right now because they've either lost work or had a reduction in income due to COVID. So we will continue to work on that, and I'm definitely supportive of the package that we're discussing, and we'll hopefully vote on before the end of this week.
There can be some of those basic things that hopefully everybody can agree upon, and we can get those passed. That's what I hear on the street.
I agree with you. And, when COVID first started, we ended up passing 4 massive packages. People are most familiar with the CARES Act and the Payroll Protection Program. So the 4th one was an extension of that program. And that was done on either a unanimous or broadly bipartisan, almost unanimous basis in both the House and the Senate. And, people agreed we need to get help out to people who've lost their jobs. We need to get money out there for testing, and we need to help these small businesses. And I think those core things are part of what we're looking at doing now, and that we need to continue that.
We're a really small business chamber. We focus on very much helping our small business and civil discord. We wanted to really try to get back with the for lack of a better word, the nastiness in politics, that we can disagree and be civil about it. And we have members very diversified on both sides of the aisle that bring that. I'm sure that you have some passion for that as well.
I do. And, before coming to Congress, I was a small business owner myself. So had a retail business in Norfolk and Virginia Beach. So, can definitely identify with, that responsibility of, making the payroll every week, and the people who work for you are like family, and oftentimes our family. Our 2 adult children work for the business at varying times. And, it's just really important to make sure that those businesses have some resources to get through this, because, the vaccine, the virus, it's not their fault that they've had to, cut back or curtail operations, or depending on the business, stop things altogether. And businesses have been very flexible under the circumstances, but, we need to continue to provide assistance, because they provide the jobs in the community. And on the other side of this, we want them to be able to continue to prosper. And
let's talk about that shutdown very quickly. Congresswoman Elaine Luria here on your Coastal Virginia Chamber of Commerce. I'm JP Guscazzi. Boy, there's a lot of heat the governor is feeling, and I am not one to second guess him. He knows far better than me, but it's killing these businesses. I'm sure you're catching a lot of calls from people saying, help me. What can you do? In your conversations with Governor Northam, I'm sure everybody's saying, hey, we got to loosen up the strings a little bit. Is that what you're hearing?
It is, and it's really tough, because the governor, his team, his administration are trying to base this off the number of cases and the positivity rate. And we have seen a spike. And for, quite a while, Virginia and even southeastern Virginia, Hampton Roads was lower than a lot of the rest of the country. And so, I think that the ultimate goal of it is to try to stop the spread so that we can get back to normal. And, like you mentioned a few minutes ago, I'm very excited that the vaccine is here. The first shipment has already arrived in Virginia, and they're going to start getting that out to healthcare workers and then the other people. And so we got to get through this. But, from the federal government perspective, I think that we need to continue to provide that assistance. And there was money left in the PPP program, the payroll protection program, after it reached the deadline. And so if nothing else, the common sense thing to do is say, like, roll that over, give people an opportunity to apply again and get a second round so they can really, keep their businesses going and keep people on their payroll.
Just a minute, we'll keep you left, and you've been so kind to come on with us. I'm so glad that I finally got a chance to meet you after a couple of years. So now we'll be new buddies.
Yes, it's great to have a friend as the happiest man in America.
The last two issues. What do you hear your constituents during the campaign and the phones? I'm sure are ringing at your offices. What's the number one issue people are passionate about that they're sharing with you, Congresswoman?
Well, during COVID, a lot of things related to COVID, small businesses reaching out. We opened up a small business hotline and, for people to be able to reach out and get assistance with those federal programs and just, all of the things related to COVID, whether it's, concern for healthcare workers initially with, the lack of PPE and just all of the things related to COVID and what we can do to help recover. And a lot of people, needing assistance, connecting with the Virginia Employment Commission to help get their benefits. And those types of things have just really been one of the main things that we've heard. And then, over the course of my 2 years in office and throughout this most recent campaign, people are very concerned about healthcare and the cost of healthcare and the ability to have quality, affordable healthcare, and prescription drug costs are part of that too. So that's something that I hope going into this term we can continue to work on and pass some legislation to help people get good quality healthcare. And we hear a lot about veterans issues as well. We have a lot of veterans in the area. It's one of the highest concentrations of veterans in the whole country. And so being able to help people with individual issues with the VA and then, broader policy things that I've been working on in the Veterans Affairs Committee. So we hear a lot about those issues as well.
You have been grand. You're a nice assistant there, Kate, was very kind with me. And another guy, I guess, named Charles or Chuck, he was very kind. So I want to wish them a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday as from the Coastal Chamber of Commerce to you. And we hope you have you back on sometime, maybe about late spring or something like that, if that's good.
Would love to do that. And, also want to wish a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone in the Coastal Chamber. And, please reach out to our office about anything, any issues you have on your mind. If there's something we didn't talk about today, our number for our Virginia Beach office is 364-7650. So please reach out if you have a question about something we're doing in Washington, or if we can help you with any federal agencies. So we can help with Social Security, Medicare, VA, federal retirement issues, immigration issues. So please consider us a resource, and we're available anytime.
The Congresswoman Elaine Luria from Virginia's 2nd District. This is another episode of The Wave from the Coastal Virginia Chamber of Commerce. Remember, we want you to be a part of our team. Go to the coastalvachamber.com, join our team. I'll come out to your place of business and film an infomercial personally. But until that time, The happiest of holidays and Merry Christmas to all. See you next time on The Wing.